Sound of crackling static, then a deep, resonant hum, slowly resolving into the familiar ambient waves and ethereal synth of wave radio. A subtle, underlying tension can be felt in the score, a mix of grand classical and deep cinematic tones in E minor, suggesting vast, unseen forces. Savannah, voice. Grounded, with a hint of good evening, Oasis paradise. Savannah here, reporting to you live, not from our usual oceanside studios, but from an unprecedented vantage point, a secure observation nexus, deep within the heart of the Shadowlands arena itself. Maya Evergreen, voice. Ethereal, almost breathless with wonder, and I am Maya Evergreen, resonating with the very fabric of this profound realm. Tonight, we witness the silent ballet of justice, where the echoes of ancient homeworlds clash, and the fate of Kalian law is forged in trials of spirit. Savannah. Indeed, Maya. We've been observing the preparations for what was to be a critical arbitration between representatives of the Moonshadows, those formidable seekers of hidden truths from the furthest, moon-kissed reaches of the network, and the Lunar Guardians, ancient keepers of galactic balance, whose origins trace back to worlds born of primordial starlight. The ambient hum deepens, a low, slow thrum begins to pulse, signaling a shift in the Shadowlands' atmosphere. Savannah. However, it appears our broadcast will be cut short, and the arbitration postponed. We're getting an immediate meteorological update from the Shadowlands' own etheric sensors. It looks like a shutdown due to heavy rains. Not just liquid precipitation, but a cascade of dense, charged cosmic particulates that are impacting the visibility and stability of the very etheric currents that make this arena function. Maya Evergreen, the voice of the Shadowlands, has spoken. Its deep, resonant hum has shifted to a low, insistent murmur, resonating with the disapproval of the rain deity. This isn't just weather, it's the elemental deities themselves demanding a pause, a cleansing before such weighty matters can proceed. Savannah. That means the nexus of echoes will be inactive until the storm passes. But there's good news for our Kalian adventurers. Tomorrow, expect better weather, clear skies, a great day for a seasoned adventure. The Shadowlands will be open for those who dare to seek its secrets, once the elemental temper has subsided. The ambient music swells slightly, then fades into a brief silence. Cinematic backstory. The first descent into the shadow waters. Fade in. Sound of a churning, viscous liquid, not water, but thick, resonant energy. The harmonic echo. Void Sailor cuts a slow, purposeful path through a sea of deep, undulating indigo, lit by the faint, internal glow of distant crystalline formations. Rain streaks across the viewport, not water, but shimmering, liquid light. Our journey to the Shadowlands began not with a direct quest for its legal halls, but with a whisper, an ancient, fractured truth gleaned from the deepest archives of the Museum of Memory. Following the tumultuous discoveries in Hidden Cove, the strange energies of the cosmic hum cycles and the unsettling accuracy of the Sky Watcher's prophecies, Maya and I became convinced that the Great Fracture hadn't just broken the harmonic grid, it had merely shifted parts of it into a different vibrational plane. The Verdant Spire mandate, particularly its cryptic references to umbral convergence points, became our obsession. Our initial sea adventure quest wasn't for justice, but for lost knowledge, for the fabled lost city of Umbra, believed to be a repository of pre-fracture thought echoes and perhaps, the very origin point of the elemental deity's direct influence. The ancient cartouches, painstakingly realigned from fragmented data by Maya, pointed to an oceanic region of the Shadowlands, a place believed to be a reflection of Kalia's primal seas. Our vessel, the Harmonic Echo, was a custom-built Void Sailor, its hull interwoven with etheric dampeners designed to navigate chaotic energy fields. We left the unpredictable shores of Hidden Cove under a sky pregnant with cosmic mysteries, using its unique energetic signature as a springboard into the unknown. Sound. The low, pervasive hum of the Shadowlands begins, initially soft, then gradually intensifying as the ship delves deeper. The atmosphere darkens further. The journey itself was a trial. The water of the Shadowlands was a semi-sentient, viscous energy, constantly attempting to assimilate our ship's resonance. We encountered vast, silent currents of solidified fear, residual emotional imprints from the 1,000-year crisis that threatened to overwhelm our psyches. Our financial reserves, already stretched thin from the Hidden Cove initiatives, dwindled with every etheric recalibration needed. The engineering hardships were constant. Crystalline growths, powered by raw thought, would spontaneously form on our hull, threatening to fuse us with the Shadowlands itself. It was during one such perilous traverse, as Savannah wrestled with a failing power conduit amidst a sudden surge of energetic rains, which felt like liquid sorrow, that we heard it. Not through our comms, but directly in our minds, a deep, resonating whisper that permeated every fiber of the ship. Sound. The pervasive hum deepens, taking on a booming, deep, slow quality. This path doesn't look safe, the voice warned, resonating from the very core of the Shadowlands. We were lost, adrift in a sea of forgotten truths, but that warning, from the very consciousness of this realm, proved to be our salvation. It steered us away from a vast, thought rip, a gaping maw of absolute nothingness that would have consumed us. As we veered, we saw distant, shimmering lights, not a city, but structures of pure light, coalescing and dissolving. Sound. The hum suddenly accelerates, becoming fast, then fragments into a high-pitched, almost panicked tone, the breaking voice heard clearly. This bridge hasn't been cleared, not finished setting the journey. It was then we saw it, the nexus of echoes, bathed in an otherworldly glow, far across the volatile waters. It was not the lost city of Umbra we sought, but something far more significant, the living heart of Kalian law, a place where the Congressional Committee members communed with the elemental deities themselves. We hadn't found a lost city, we had found the foundational bedrock of Oasis paradise. Recognizing our presence, and perhaps our genuine intent, the Shadowlands allowed us to approach, to observe. And thus, our unique role as Wave Radio's Shadowlands correspondents began, bringing live updates from the ultimate court of Kalian justice. Fade out to Wave Radio show theme music. The underlying tension resolves into a sense of grand adventure and mystery. Savannah, voice, returning to her upbeat, professional tone, and that, Oasis paradise, is how we found ourselves with this unprecedented access to the Shadowlands. Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. for live shows, new updates, breaking news, and more, only on the Wave Radio Show. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you today, 7 p.m., live from the Oceanside Studios. Wave Radio Show theme music swells and fades out. Sound of a soft, digital chime, followed by the clear, authoritative voice of a Kalian legal archivist. The background is a sterile, resonant hum, like the interior of a vast, unblemished data archive. Attention, citizens of Oasis Paradise. The following is a public dissemination of the recently ratified New Dawn laws, as recorded in the Central Nexus Archive. This broadcast will detail a foundational article concerning the standard metropolitan utopia. A subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the ambient hum. The voice deepens slightly, adopting a formal, almost ceremonial cadence. Now reading from the New Dawn Laws, Article 1, Principles of Metropolitan Harmony and Prosperity. The New Dawn Laws. Article 1, Principles of Metropolitan Harmony and Prosperity. Section 1.01, Affirmation of Unified Purpose within the Metropolitan Utopia. It is hereby declared that every metropolitan utopia within the Oasis network shall serve as a nexus of collective innovation, sustainable coexistence, and efficient societal function. Each citizen residing within or traversing these designated urban zones is recognized as an integral component of the metropolitan harmonic grid, bound by a shared commitment to fostering an environment of perpetual growth, advanced technological integration, and unparalleled civic tranquility. The purpose of the metropolitan utopia is to exemplify the pinnacle of Kalian ingenuity and collective aspiration, ensuring optimal resource flow and citizen well-being through integrated systems and collaborative governance. Section 1.02, Stewardship of Public Commons and Infrastructure. The public commons, including but not limited to, communal etheric pathways, speed rail conduits, vertical agricultural zones, and shared recreational spaces, are hereby designated as sacred trusts, maintained for the equitable benefit of all citizens. Any act of deliberate disruption, unauthorized modification, or neglect leading to the degradation of these vital communal infrastructures shall constitute a direct affront to the collective prosperity of the metropolitan utopia. Citizens are mandated to actively participate in the preservation and enhancement of these shared resources, utilizing approved channels for reporting anomalies or proposing improvements, thereby upholding the integrity and efficiency of the urban ecosystem. Section 1.03 Principles of Data Integrity and Resonant Conduct. In recognition of the metropolitan utopia's reliance on instantaneous data flow and etheric communication, all citizens are enjoined to uphold the highest standards of data integrity and resonant conduct within public digital spheres. Dissemination of verified information, adherence to the principles outlined in the Edict of Harmonious Discourse, and engagement in civic discourse that strengthens, rather than degrades, the collective conscious resonance are paramount. Any action that knowingly corrupts public data streams, generates systemic informational dissonance, or attempts to manipulate collective perception for unapproved ends shall be deemed a violation of this article, as it directly impedes the transparent and efficient operation of the metropolitan utopia. The welfare of the digital landscape is inextricable from the welfare of its citizens. The archival hum remains, subtle and constant, as the legal archivist's voice softens slightly, returning to a neutral tone. This concludes the reading of the New Dawn Laws, Article 1. Further sections will be disseminated as per the Congressional Committee's schedule. Thank you for your attention. The archival hum slowly fades to silence. Sound of bustling courtroom ambiance. Murmurs, the soft hum of etheric displays, the occasional click of data slate keys. A clear, focused microphone audio picks up. Savannah, voice. Urgent, live, professional, good evening, Oasis Paradise. Savannah here, and we are live, direct from the Central Nexus Court in the Metropolitan Utopia. This is truly an unprecedented moment, as we witness the cutting edge of Kalian jurisprudence in action. The new legal structures, born from the Edict of Harmonious Discourse, are being tested in a critical case with ramifications for the entire network. Maya Evergreen, voice. Intent, analytical, with a subtle undertone of the gravity of the proceedings, and Maya Evergreen, observing alongside. This isn't merely a legal proceeding, it's a real-time calibration of the New Dawn Laws, where logic meets the complex flow of the harmonic grid. The very variables of our interconnected existence are at stake. Live from the courtroom, the case of the severed fiber. Sound of a projected etheric blueprint whirring into existence in the courtroom, overlaid with pulsing green and red lines. The defense advocate's voice, sharp and precise, fills the space. Defense advocate voice. Eloquent, firm, Your Honor, distinguished members of the Congressional Committee, we present court documents that definitively prove our client's innocence regarding the recent severance of the primary etheric fiber line impacting Districts 7 through 12. We maintain that my client did not cut that fiber line without knowing its critical function. A subtle, digital-like voice, part of the courtroom's etheric projection system, responds, almost like a query processing a legal variable. If variable equals percent client underscore knowledge underscore of underscore fiber underscore location percent then else percent d percent equals set p court percent d percent then else new laws discovered laws that help govern the Oasis Paradise found court documents. Defense advocate. Precisely, Your Honor. The blueprints, submitted as Exhibit DELTA 7, clearly show the underground drop had never been serviced before. Furthermore, the land where the incident occurred is officially labeled as Desolate Valley in all existing geological and infrastructural maps. There were no markings whatsoever showing where the ground drop was located. My client was engaged in authorized geosculpting within a designated wilderness zone, operating under the assumption of unencumbered subsurface integrity. The negligence lies not with my client, but with the lack of comprehensive and transparent mapping from the prior era's fragmented records. The hum of the courtroom deepens. You can almost feel the collective intake of breath from the observers. Savannah, the stakes, folks, are incredibly high. This shutdown of vital services, like phone, high-speed internet, electricity, has crippled a significant portion of the metropolitan utopia. The defense argues that the absence of clear labeling, a legacy perhaps of the tumultuous 1,000-year crisis, directly contributed to this catastrophic oversight. Maya Evergreen, and the prosecution's challenge here is monumental. Under the new laws, the very edict of harmonious discourse we discussed last week, accountability is paramount. But if the foundational data itself is flawed, if the blueprint of the land is incomplete, how does justice truly reconcile with circumstance? This shutdown, Your Honor, may indeed have no end in sight until the truth of its origins is absolutely clear. The very laws that help govern the Oasis Paradise Found are being stretched and defined in this moment. Savannah, indeed, Maya. A complex web of responsibility unraveling live before us. This has been Maya Evergreen and Savannah's Wave Radio Show, reporting live from the Central Nexus Court. Back to you, Oceanside. Sound of a smooth, aspirational musical transition. The courtroom ambiance fades completely, replaced by upbeat, hopeful synth melodies and the gentle sounds of nature, birdsong, trickling water. Visuals implied shift from the sterile court to lush, vibrant landscapes. Infomercial, embrace the New Dawn Oasis project. A warm, inviting voiceover begins, accompanied by breathtaking, photorealistic vistas of a gleaming, green metropolis seamlessly blending with nature. Voiceover, are you dreaming of an escape? A place where magic, wonder, and mysteries unfold at every turn. Welcome, traveler, to the New Dawn Oasis project. Come, everyone, join us in the paradise found. Visuals of sparkling, futuristic cityscapes nestled amidst verdant forests. Sun-drenched plazas, people laughing, interacting in harmonious spaces. Discover a land where real estate prices are at a record low. Truly, it couldn't be more affordable to find your perfect home. Imagine housing, food, water, and social support all available, effortlessly, right downtown. Explore vibrant shopping destinations, unwind at luxurious riverside hotels, or indulge in the tranquility of our poolside manners. Visuals transition to lush, untouched nature. Crystal clear rivers, cascading waterfalls, vast, serene lakes, and rolling hills extending into ancient, towering forests. But the New Dawn Oasis isn't just a city, it's an invitation to adventure. Discover endless nature hikes through breathtaking terrain, thrilling rock climbing adventures that await you at every moment. Witness live animals as they swing from high above the jungle canopy, their calls echoing through unspoiled wilderness. Visuals shift to cutting-edge green technology. Massive, beautiful vertical farms, their levels cascading with ripe tree fruits and vegetables, tended by glowing automated systems. Gardens spill out onto open terraces, blurring the lines between urban and wild. Our commitment to a sustainable future is unparalleled. The New Dawn Green Energy Conservation Community Project powers our entire world, from our big vertical farms to our cascading gardens, all seamlessly integrated into the open environment. Indulge in the pure delight of waterfalls, rivers, and lakes, offering moments of serene contemplation or thrilling aquatic exploration. Voiceover becomes more urgent, but still warm and inviting. Join us today. Get the greatest deal on your escape to Paradise Found. Call today, book a cruise, fly in, or book in advance. Let our representative know that you watched this video for special offer code, Paradise Found for a new, great deal. History of the New Dawn Project. From crisis to zenith. The New Dawn Project is not merely a construction endeavor, it is the ultimate testament to Kalian resilience, born directly from the ashes of the 1,000-year crisis. Its origins story begins in the twilight of the Middle Era, as the Great Fracture plunged Kalia into unparalleled chaos. The vision for New Dawn was conceived not as a city, but as a guiding principle, a promise of a future where humanity could reclaim its harmonious connection to the universe. The first era of the project, spanning roughly the latter half of the 1,000-year crisis, was purely theoretical. It was a period of intense intellectual and spiritual recovery, where the foundational Paradise Protocols were developed, and the initial New Dawn laws, including Article 1's principles, were drafted by disparate congressional committees meeting in secret, often guided by the fragmented whispers of the elemental deities. This was the era of concept, fueled by sheer, desperate hope. The second era, early post-crisis, saw the commencement of exploratory construction projects. This phase was plagued by immense financial, engineering, and natural disaster hardships. Residual etheric instability from the fracture caused unpredictable energy surges, while newly emergent, chaotic weather phenomena, like the intense cosmic storms and prolonged etheric rains, as experienced in Hidden Cove and the Shadowlands, led to frequent and devastating shutdowns. Early attempts at large-scale vertical farming often failed due to unforeseen atmospheric blight. Progress was painstakingly slow, measured in decades rather than years. The Third Era, mid-post-crisis, marked a turning point. With the formal establishment of the Shadowlands as the ultimate legal arbiter, and the first major 1,000-year crisis reports being compiled, a sense of unified purpose began to solidify across the fragmented network. Engineering breakthroughs in etheric stabilization and material synthesis, partly inspired by the resilient structures of the Shadowlands and Hidden Cove, allowed for more robust construction. This era saw the foundational pillars of the core metropolitan utopia rise. The Fourth Era, late post-crisis, leading to the present, is the era of completion and refinement. With clearer skies, as evident from improving 1,000-year weather reports, and a more stable harmonic grid, construction proceeded with remarkable efficiency. The shutdowns from natural disasters became less frequent and less severe, although localized etheric anomalies, like those still challenging Hidden Cove, remain a constant vigilance point for the New Dawn's monitoring systems. From the very start of its conceptualization during the deep despair of the 1,000-year crisis, to its current, thriving state, the New Dawn project took approximately 250 Kalian cycles, roughly 500 Earth years, to achieve its full, harmonious realization. It stands as a living testament to Kalian perseverance, a beacon of hope born from ultimate adversity, proving that even after a millennium of chaos, paradise found can, and will, endure. Chapter 2. Echoes of the Shadowlands, the Azure Portal's unveiling. The New Dawn of Kalia, marked by the ongoing efforts of the Oasis network to rebuild from the Great Fracture, now faced a monumental undertaking, the New Dawn Fiber Upgrade Project for the Shadowlands. This wasn't merely a technological advancement, it was a daring venture into a realm long shrouded in mystery and the bitter legacy of the 1,000-year crisis. For millennia, the Shadowlands, distinct from the Fringe Lands, had existed as a separate, spectral domain. It was the ancestral home of the Moonshadows, the enigmatic lunar guardians who had once stood as a bulwark against the creeping darkness, and the cursed homeworlds of the Nightshades, the very architects of the Great Fracture. Their conflict, the brutal Thousand Years' War, had scarred not just Kalia Prime, but had metaphysically tethered the Shadowlands to a cycle of perpetual twilight and hidden despair. At the heart of this spectral separation lay the Kalian #Azure Portal. Not a physical gateway in the traditional sense, but a complex, almost sentient data network that had once connected all Kalian realms. During the fracture, this grand, ancient mega-project had suffered a catastrophic shutdown, splintering into corrupted, isolated nodes. The Shadowlands, in particular, had been severed, its own internal #Azure Portal network collapsing, trapping its inhabitants in a digital and physical twilight. For centuries, access to the Shadowlands was restricted, its history long concealed by the Committee Court documents. These were the sealed historical records of the 1,000-year crisis, grim chronicles of the war's true horrors, the philosophical breakdowns, and the desperate, often morally ambiguous, decisions made in the name of survival. These documents, including the devastating weather crisis reports from the millennium of conflict, records of unending storms, unpredictable winds, acid rains, and agonizingly brief, blood-red sunny days under a prophesied blood moon, were decreed to be unsealed only at the turn of each New Dawn, every First Era. It was precisely this unsealing process that had initiated the current New Dawn Fiber Upgrade. With the revelation of the latest batch of 1,000-year anniversary weather crisis reports, the ruling committee members, bound by the Paradise Protocols, voted on these critical historical shutdowns. These periodic, deliberate suspensions of construction and certain societal functions were designed to help study the environment, to meticulously record and chart new findings of the world of the Oasis as it slowly, painstakingly healed. But this time, the scope was different. The committee's vote had been unanimous. The next environmental study and data collection effort would target the Shadowlands. The New Dawn Fiber Upgrade Project was the vanguard of this initiative. Its goal, To re-establish stable #Azure portal connections within the Shadowlands, not just for communication, but to analyze the residual energies of the fracture, to understand how the land and its ancient denizens had survived, and to prevent future cataclysms. It was a perilous journey, both technologically and spiritually, venturing into the very heart of Kalia's oldest wound, guided by the hope that by finally comprehending the shadows, they could truly embrace the light of the Oasis.